You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe. Ground and pound that like button. And as always, thank you guys and gals for watching our channel. We're going to talk about Brittney Griner. Her trial has begun. It has begun in Moscow. And, of course, a lot of things are going to come out of that. This is going to get fast and furious. And we've got two stories in one here because the New York Times has come out with something involving the Merchant of Death, the Lord of War, Viktor Bout. Of course, he is a U.S. prisoner, a guy that's he's a Russian prisoner here in the U.S. in federal prison. Okay, and there's a lot of things kind of ramping up involving a potential swap for Brittney Griner. I've been very vocal about the fact that shouldn't happen. It just should not happen. You shouldn't. I don't think you should swap for somebody that dangerous, okay? And we'll get to more specifics on that. So there's two stories in one here. The trial has begun. This is the New York Post. American basketball star Brittney Griner appeared in a Moscow area court for a trial Friday, about 4.5 months after she was arrested on cannabis possession charges at an airport while traveling to play for a Russian team. Now, we'll just go on down here because we know she was carrying vape canisters with cannabis oil. We know that. And was grabbed at a Russian airport. Now, they're looking at the fact that she could face up to 10 years in prison if convicted of what they call large-scale transportation of drugs. Fewer than 1% of defendants in Russia criminal cases are acquitted, and unlike the U.S., acquittals can be overturned there. At a closed-door preliminary hearing Monday in Moscow, the suburb of Khimki, Griner's detention was extended for another 6 months to December 20th. Photos obtained by the Associated Press, including one of a few close-ups of Griner since her arrest on February 17th, showed the 31-year-old in handcuffs looking straight ahead, unlike a previous court appearance where she kept her head down, covered with a hood. She declined to answer questions from reporters in English as she was led through the courthouse, according to the video in Russian media. Russian media later reported that Griner's lawyers would not comment on how their client planned to plead. Interesting. The athlete's detention and trial comes at an extraordinarily low point in Moscow-Washington relations. Griner was arrested less than a week before Russia sent troops into the Ukraine, which aggravated already high tensions between the two countries. The invasion led to sweeping sanctions imposed by the United States and Russia, denounced for the U.S. sending weapons to the Ukraine. Amid the tensions, Griner's supporters have kept a low profile in hopes of a quiet resolution. They have? They have? You've got all kinds of Democrats out there that are trying to turn themselves into a virtue signaling hero over this. I mean, passing resolutions. You got people calling out, banging the drum for Joe Biden to do something. I mean, look, they were quiet for the first couple of months, but everybody got really vocal the last month, and I don't think that's helped her. Amid the tensions, Griner supporters have kept a low profile in hopes of a quiet resolution until May, when the State Department reclassified her as wrongfully detained, shifted oversight of her case to its special presidential envoy for hostage affairs, effectively the U.S. government's chief negotiator. Griner's wife, Cheryl, has urged President Biden to secure her release, calling her a political pawn. It is good to see her in some of those images, but it's tough. Every time's a reminder that their teammate, their friend, wrongfully imprisoned in another country, Phoenix Mercury coach Vanessa Nygaard said Monday. The coach hoped that Biden would take steps to ensure she comes home. Well, again, how in the world somebody that goes into Russia and breaks their law is wrongfully detained? I tend to believe that was a mistake by the Biden administration coming out and labeling that. Russian news media has repeatedly raised speculation that she could be swapped for Russian arms trader Viktor Bout, nicknamed the, quote, Merchant of Death, who is serving a 25-year sentence on conviction of conspiracy to kill U.S. citizens and providing aid to a terrorist organization. Well, Viktor Bout has come under even a brighter light today when it comes to Brittney Griner's fate. This is the New York Times today. Russia hints at linking Griner's case to the fate of the Merchant of Death. There he is right there when the DEA grabbed him. She is a professional basketball player accused of carrying hashish oil in luggage. He is a notorious Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death, serving a 25-year federal prison sentence for conspiring to sell weapons to people who said they planned to kill Americans. I'm sorry, you cannot make this trade. You cannot do it. And the Kremlin appears interested in linking their fates in a potential deal with the Biden administration that would free both. The vast disparity between the cases of Griner and Bout highlights the extreme difficulty President Biden would face if sought a prisoner exchange to free Griner, the detained WNBA star from detention in Moscow. The Biden administration, reluctant to create an incentive for the arrest or abduction of Americans abroad, would be hard-pressed to justify the release of a villainous figure like Mr. Bout. Absolutely. Why are you calling Mr. Bout? F him. At the same time, Mr. Biden is under, they called him Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden is under pressure to free Miss Griner, who was arrested at a Moscow airport in February and who the State Department classified as wrongfully detained. That reflects concern that the Kremlin considers her leverage intense confrontation between the United States and Russia over the Ukraine. Last week, dozens of groups representing people of color, women, and LGBTQ Americans sent a letter urging Mr. Biden to, quote, make a deal to get Brittney Griner back home to America immediately and safely. It would make sense that some of these groups are not putting their thinking caps on and realizing he should not make a deal for a notorious arms dealer. I mean, come on. Ms. Griner's trial started on Friday, was adjourned until next Thursday. Okay, so they're saying it started. This article came out literally right before I was going to start shooting. Mr. Bout, 55, a former Soviet military officer who made a fortune in global arms trafficking before he was caught in a federal sting operation, could be the price for any deal. Russian officials have pressed Mr. Bout's case for years, and in recent weeks, Russian media outlets have directly linked his case to Griner's. Some, including state-owned TASS news service, have claimed that talks with Washington for a possible exchange are already underway, something U.S. officials, by the way, will not confirm. Mr. Bout's New York-based lawyer, Steve Zausu, said in an interview that Russian officials are pressing to free Mr. Bout, who was convicted in 2011 of offering to sell weapons, including anti-aircraft missiles, to federal agents posing as members of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. Mr. Zausu said that he met with Anatoly Anatolov, Russia's ambassador to the United States, in June in Washington. Anatolov told him the release of Mr. Bout was a very high priority for the Russian government. It has been communicated to American side very clearly that they're going to have to get real on Viktor Bout if they expect further prisoner exchanges. My sense of this is that no American is going home unless Viktor Bout is sent home with them. Yikes. U.S. officials have declined to substantiate that notion and won't discuss any potential to free Mrs. Griner. The State Department, as a matter of practice, dismisses questions about prisoner exchanges around the world, warning that they set a dangerous precedent. Quote, using wrongful detention as a bargaining chip represents a threat to the safety of everyone traveling, working, and living abroad, the department spokesperson said. Okay, so Russia seems to be saying Brittney Griner will not be coming back, and that's what Viktor Bout's lawyer is saying, but he is saying Brittney Griner is not coming home unless Viktor Bout is going back the other way to Russia. Wow. Wow. And you would assume that Bout's lawyer probably is having communications behind the scenes with Russia. I'm sure that is absolutely a thing, talking to some liaison over there. That's speculation, but, I mean, it doesn't take a stretch to believe that. Okay? And then you've got these organizations, politicians, organizations, the radical left, that are pushing for Griner to come home at all cost, and it sounds like they literally said in a statement, make a deal to get her home. Well, surely to God, you guys would not be inferring to swap this dangerous federal criminal prisoner for a basketball player from the United States. I hope that is not really what we're talking about here. I've said I don't support that. And at the end of the day, I will continue to say, look, she went into another country and she allegedly broke their law. I still don't understand why citizens of this country believe that they should be able to tell another country what their law should be and their penalties for said law. I think one of the worst things that happened in this case was Joe Biden's administration saying she was, quote, wrongfully detained. You don't know that. You don't. If she really did this, then she's not wrongfully detained. She broke their law. And I think that wrongfully detained proclamation from the Biden administration screwed this whole thing up publicly here. Okay? It started the fire of all the things that I believe, frankly, are going to piss Putin off. Oh, y'all are all writing letters and you're making this a big deal in America? I am not letting her go anywhere. Okay? I think he's going to realize this is very personal for people in America, and that's going to make him want to keep her more. I said politicians got involved big time the other day with their bipartisan resolution, and I think that doomed Brittney Griner. I believe that. Outside of the swap for this, and I'm telling you, I hope, look, we're talking about the Biden administration, so there ain't no telling what that turd is willing to do. But there's no way we should make that swap. No way. I don't even think we should entertain making that swap. I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, no, you're not getting him. Now, let's move on to something else. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.